We'll leave it for Rashford. He strikes. Oh, it's a goal! Staying on his feet this time. Oh, they went for Martial! Lovely touch by Fernandez. Cavani! Rashford. All the way across goal. What a finish!
Welcome everyone and welcome to All in All United. Fellas, Premier League, Chelsea, Manchester United. Going over to Stamford Bridge, over the last couple of years hasn't really been, one that we look forward to, but we've been coming away with some real good results, And I mean, even though, Chelsea is where they are, at the top of the table, and we would have gone in there, bereft of some confidence, because, Carrick at the helm, caretaker manager issues, the team now kind of trying to put itself back together. And I mean, let me be honest, fellas, we didn't play no kind of football today, but to take a point, which could have almost been 3 points off, the league leaders. I mean, all I take anything I running on. Me and Vexing. I reach the point where my expectations of my team right now not there. So I being real petty, I taking that. And the comment or the title we would have had on the post at full time. I mean, the better team on the day was Chelsea, and we know they would have been disappointed with the results. But we taking that and we running. What we saying, fellas?
Yeah, as we were saying before, good night. After we would have been battered by Liverpool, right? Hit for 5, almost for 6 or even 7. Manchester City would have played us off the park. I don't think we even touched the ball in that game. I think going into this game, Chelsea would have said, boy, you understand? That I've been licking the chops. We're going to hit them at least for 5. We're on top of the table. We're in good form. Beating people at will in whatever league we playing in, because they would have destroyed Juventus during this week here, right? And at the form we in and the confidence we were at, I think this game today felt like a loss for them, and a loss for them definitely is our game. As Dream would have said, definitely that they would have played the better game. However, I think they would have been lucky to get a penalty. If it wasn't for Wan-Bissaka. However, whatever he would have done, that careless challenge, I think we could have won that game today. And I know for sure they would have been sick. The Chelsea fans would have been sick to their stomach, knowing that, the form they have been in and the form we have been in, going to Stamford Bridge and coming out with 3 points today would have been, mind-blowing for them. But again, we're grateful for the point, and I think hopefully, we could really build from that result today.
Yeah. So before I move to Phil or Carrick at the wheel, where Phil needs to stop it, all right? Let me just get some comments here. So Everson Baron on the inside, thanks, buddy. He's saying looking forward to the show. Yeah. I mean, Tyreek, thanks for joining, man. Good night to you. Yeah, Lion, what is he saying, buddy? He's saying good night, brothers. Right. Our team spirit was much better today. I was pleased because we still hung over from the sacking. Yeah, definitely. We're still kind of trying to balance the wheel. All right. Everson saying, fellas, forget the performance. Watch the result. We should have won, to be honest. I really thought we would have won 1-0.
Yeah, I was even thinking for a nick of a 2-0. Ronaldo coming on a nick in a second, but see what.
But the piece of notation Fred do, that was at 2-1 or 1-0. 1-1 or 1-0.
1-0.
That was a 1-0.
It was 1-0. Yeah, we could even get it there too, and Fred tried to think he is prime Ronaldinho. Curtin, good night. Anderson, good night, man. Thanks for joining. So fellas, I'm trying to organize it because I have a little right. So I'm bringing in somebody here now. This guy here, I don't know if you're there. Yeah, and what your jersey you wearing now? What's your face? What's your face all here? Yeah. So I don't know if you all would have remembered some time ago. Carrie. Good night. Carrie from Stamford Bridge is on with me today. We do appreciate you coming on. I know initially when I asked you to come on, Carrie, you really thought Yeah, I be coming on here to gloat and all kind of thing. But here what going on? We petty, right? Are they better? Are they play better than we? And as Nico say, Liverpool trash we, City dominate we, and earlier, what we could do, boy? What we could do? What we could do? What we could do? So, Phil,
That's
talk to
life
me now.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Now the last team Chelsea thrashed, they were wearing black and white. So I am so glad that United did not come out in that kit that Ream has on today, boy. 'Cause I swear we would have probably hold 4 today, boy. But don't get me wrong. When I saw that lineup, that guy start about 7 or 8 defensive minded players. I was like, well, boy. So my biggest, I don't want to say it's a concern, but Carrick leaving out Ronaldo in one of the biggest games of all, and one of the biggest fixtures of our EPL campaign, right? That kind of had me interesting, right? Carrick definitely making some big calls, but that first half, within the first 5 minutes, David De Gea was called on, and that's not good. But at the end of the day, football is 90 minutes, and believe it or not, we held Chelsea to about maybe 2 shots on target, maybe for the entire 90 minutes. I could be wrong about those stats, right? But definitely it was a situation where everybody and their dog and their grandmother were expecting us to hold 4 or 5. But when I saw how we set up, it was almost like we were expecting or anticipating Chelsea to make a mistake. And so said, so done. So Jorginho gave us that chance to score. We appreciate it, but then all good things must come to an end, right? So definitely pleased with the result, but the performance has to definitely improve. We're still under this whole Ole Gunnar Solskjaer notion and I guess spell. And looking forward to good days, man. Your man Michael Carrick is unbeaten. Carrick at the wheel.
Stop
Phil,
that,
Phil, let's stop.
yeah. Kerry, when you get a chance, if you could turn your device landscape so it'll follow the box, right? I don't know if you're hearing me. I think you probably stick, right? So before I come to Simeon, let me just get some comments here, right? Yeah, some people on the inside. Lion saying the one challenge was a harsh because he was going to kick the ball and Thiago put his foot in the way. Thiago Silva. Right there. Jody saying, bless night everyone. This Fred boy spoil my juju. Boy. Nicholas Dream Chaser, thanks for joining. He's saying, good night, fellas. Must say I rate Carrick on the decision making. He doing what Oli was afraid to do. Yeah, no doubt. He making some real big calls. Yeah. And so far, none of backfire, at least as far as I'm concerned. Right? Rian saying Phil, aka Morpheus. Yeah, Phil come out looking like Morpheus tonight. Joselle, good night to you too, buddy. Akira, what now? He's saying, look, Kerry. Yeah. He come. Right? Clayton saying dotations in the first and second half from Fred. He also saying, please get rid of Fred. Oh, watch man. Let me don't do Fred that now. Riyadh, welcome, buddy. Saying Silva initiated the contact anywhere else on the field and the ref was waving that away. But in the box, when players started to throw their hand up in the air, the referee he started to get jit and started, Anyway. So Simeon, before we go to the Chelsea man, what's your initial thoughts?
I mean, it's because in the US it says Thanksgiving weekend. It's Thanksgiving, so we gotta give thanks to Jorginho for that gift. I mean, I think we were playing scared in the first half. We really were struggling to get the ball moving. That ball couldn't pass for nothing. Chelsea coach was relaxed, sitting down, feet up, relaxed, all comfortable. Like, okay, my game plan is this. It's working. And that mistake just changed the whole game. I saw it. You see the guys, just picked up. It just got more confidence afterwards. I mean, some of them ain't that good, but you can see the confidence, especially if Matic bring the ball out after that goal. I think that goal really got the confidence up. But I mean, Maguire didn't play, and you see what happened. You know,
Sure.
you see that Maguire, was left out. And you see that defense.
Sure.
You see Bailly, knock it out. I mean, you see a different team out there. That defense look 10 times better. But I think that gift just set a trend for the whole game. I mean, I can't go back and say we played good. I can't say Chelsea played bad, but we just we played good enough to get a result. I mean, they get a gift, we get a gift. I mean, we got a point. I mean, but for Chelsea, they run club. They got all these. I mean, they got all the whole team ready. We missing Pogba. I won't mention
Varane.
Maguire.
Varane.
Oh my gosh,
we're not missing Maguire. No, we're not missing Maguire.
we
No.
missing Maguire. But I think
Cavani.
Chelsea.
Cavani's a big
Chelsea.
miss.
I mean, Chelsea in that run they had. I mean, they run 5 games straight. I mean, this run they had. All your clubs look up and we look at Chelsea, the well-run club, and all their fans were pretty much confident going into this game that it was going to be an easy win. Even the coach seemed pretty confident in his plan, like he was, and it was working. But still, we pull it out. I mean, I'm glad we got through this game because I think what's to come will be a lot better. So it's Thanksgiving. I give thanks and move on.
Yeah. So we without further ado, we want to give the Chelsea guy, Kerry, we want to give you the opportunity to just share your thoughts on the game. I mean, but I want to be honest with your expectation going into the game, and your disappointment on the result.
Say it with your chest, too. Say it with your chest.
Anyway, go through.
Pleasant good night to all you.
Good
You all
night.
hear me, right? Yeah?
Yeah,
man.
All right, cool. Yeah. Good night to all you Manchester United supporters. Thank you for having me here, Kareem. I still call you every now and again because Kareem is my real good friend from a long time. So I try to keep all my animosity towards Manchester United at a certain level because of my respect for him. That being said, my expectations going into the game, I always know a match against Manchester United is a bogey match. Whether we inform or inform, it don't matter. There's games where we tend to not perform as in terms of Chelsea, or it tends to be one of those scrappy games where it's a 0-0, 1-0, those kind of games where a mistake is the thing that is decide who wins the game. I mean, my expectations were always that we were going to beat you all because we are the better team at this point in time. But then I think Carrick would have thrown a wrench in the spokes because he didn't play Maguire. We wanted Maguire to play. That was the point.
Nah, Maguire
Needed
suspended.
Maguire.
Maguire
suspended. He couldn't play.
Wrench in his own
Right.
spoke.
Well, I don't even know. I don't really study what's going on with Manchester United, to be honest. But we really need Maguire to play because I believe Maguire would have been for us and we would said in terms of watching the game, I mean it went basically how I expected. It in terms of the possession and the fact that we were of course the team on top. But as I would have said, anytime we play in Manchester United, some kind of something that's happened and all it I kind of expected that to happen, but I also expected us to prove better in terms of goal threat. And I didn't see that today. I didn't see that we were looking to score
Kerry breaking up, boy.
often other than the penalty. So it was that was disappointing. I kind of figured that would have happened because we played Werner, and he's just
Yeah, boy, we're now.
But Kerry,
Oh,
Kerry have
God, Werner boy. Woo.
Kerry signal real poor boy.
Hey, boy, you see that goal he missed. The ball come down in front. in front of the box, and Werner just look up and just, I don't know where he compassed at. It just went.
Yeah, that was perfect. A perfect shot. Perfect shot, Sylvia. Perfect
Let me
shot.
just get some.
Oh,
Let me just get
my.
some comments. Let me just get some comments here, guys. All right. Everson saying, but on a real, I wonder if certain men are plastic fans. Fred had a solid game except for this blunder late in the game.
Fred had a
Arun-
solid second half, not a game.
Yeah.
That was
I
second half.
agree with that. He had a solid second half. I think
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that. The entire team for the first half, except for the here, had a poor game. But Fred second half, I think definitely he
Yeah.
picked up his game.
Yeah. Arun, welcome, buddy. Saying good night, guys. I think Fred high intensity playing was impressive and needed today. Better decision making needed in front of the box, though. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I want like with Fred, or well, how
Hey,
Carrick
Greg.
deploying Fred. It's how we playing Fred high up the field.
Bartholomew.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Greg saying, yeah, outside of that, he wasn't bad. And I think he's talking about Fred as well. You know, Greg does support Fred strong, right?
Greg that supports a sheep boy. Oh my god.
Hey. Dave Daniel,
Hey,
good night
Dave.
to you, buddy.
Good night, man. Good night. Tell me what score you predicted now before going into the game. Let me hear the score you predicted before going into the game. Let me hear you. And how you're feeling.
Yeah. And Alia, this is just us realizing our level, at this moment. And we just enjoying, the fact that we could play rubbish and still go and get something in Stamford Bridge, Yeah. Gregory saying Werner would miss his own funeral. I'm telling you, Werner, watch me. When I see Werner, I know we was gonna get through today. You understand? And the man didn't disappoint. The man didn't disappoint at all. David Curtin saying early in the first half, I don't know if he tried to pass or shoot or pass, but that was a missed opportunity. Yeah. Dave Daniel saying Man United had a good game today. Felt all the interim manager had a play in that.
They were a wicked boy.
I know.
Yeah, so what you say is Ralph had a play in I guess who playing today, or maybe even the formation. I guess that what Ralph say. But that was supposed to Carrick, and Carrick say no. But again, and then too I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it.
Or see Fletcher down there, Or you see Fletcher in the coaching box today for some reason.
Boy, I see Donny Van de Beek come on. I give Fred a note. I ain't gonna tell you what the note say.
Dave said you was expecting a 4-0 result.
Okay. And Gregory said he predicted a draw today, so kudos to you. So fellas, let us get into the game from our perspective. Now we could release now we little pettiness and let me get into our expectations as fans, as Man United fans. We know that the team not in a good place, but still we have expectations. We have quality players, so regardless of the manager, we're expecting certain things from the players. So even with the team sheet guy, let's get into it now, because I know Carrick been throwing some real curveballs. He making some big decisions that's even shocking, I guess the players themselves. But I mean, so far as I said before, none really biting him back. Let me talk about team sheets.
Yeah. Well, at the back, definitely we were forced into the Bailly playing today.
Antilles.
And well, of course, Antilles, right? So again, that was expected. More than that was expected. So that definitely wasn't a surprise. Playing Matic from the start though was a surprise to me. Maybe you look at matches our old boy, Chelsea old boy. Maybe he would maybe give a little more effort. Maybe I don't know why, but I guess that would have worked a bit also. But only in the second half, not in the first half. Dropping Ronaldo, of course, is always a big decision. But I think it was a decision that I could have understood. I could have understood that Carrick understanding that Chelsea would have had a lot of possession and we would have needed a lot of running power. We'd have had to do a lot of running today, and then we definitely would have been making up for Matic in the midfield, right? So we needed the extra legs. We needed the extra because I couldn't see us playing Matic and Ronaldo. That come like you're playing a man almost 2 men short. a man and a half at least short. So I think the decision in the starting lineup I think was a good one in terms of trying to counter what Chelsea are going to do and understanding the form Chelsea is in, and at least maybe giving Chelsea a bit of respect, which to me, it's real difficult to say, but in the form they're in, I think they deserved a bit of, going in with a bit of caution, and I think Carrick did that. Going forward, if this is something he employs regularly with Ronaldo on the bench, definitely, I don't know, but I guess is as they would say, horses for courses, and I think maybe that is what would happen going forward.
Yeah. Phil?
Yeah, so when I first saw the lineup, I was thinking that it was a bit negative because you're dropping Ronaldo, and it looks like he played Bruno Fernandes in a false nine. I mean, like Michael Carrick turned Pep Guardiola overnight. So I'm trying to realize, what was the rationale or the thinking behind Carrick, doing this, especially with the three defensive midfielders, right? Now, as the game went along, you can see that, having Ronaldo on the bench was, I don't want to say it's a blessing, but at the end of the day, when we had the ball, we were unproductive, right? So it would have frustrated Ronaldo or whoever was on top, right? Because when Chelsea gave away the ball, or it was David De Gea trying to play the ball from out the back, I can count on probably one hand, sometimes even two, how many times we touch the ball, and then Chelsea has the ball again, right? As I probably mentioned Reem today and other United fans, you can tell who is going to be substituted, right? It was kind of similar to the Villarreal game. If you go back to the Villarreal game, you know that Donny van de Beek and Martial were going to be subbed today. If you come to this game today, you know Jadon Sancho was going to be subbed today as well too, right?
You find so, Phil? For some reason I didn't find so.
In terms of
Sancho coming off. Sancho getting subbed today.
No, but he don't mean in terms of performance. It's just like it have certain players that
before the game starts
get taken off.
Yeah. Nico,
I find that one today it was difficult to tell because to me it could have been either Sancho or Rashford.
Rashford don't get substituted. I was telling you, Rashford don't get substituted. So
no, man, Rashford doesn't get subbed.
Rashford will always be one of your more. I mean, and I talking based on what I've seen over time. Rashford will only get subbed if he really ringing.
Yeah.
You understand? But very rare Rashford or Bruno will get substituted in a game.
Yeah, and I was so surprised by the Bruno sub today, right? I kind of expected Sancho to be subbed, but in terms of even like Nico, if you go back to earlier games in the season, right? Once we started the likes of Mason Greenwood, you know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to sub Mason Greenwood. Doesn't matter how good Mason Greenwood was playing, he could score a scorcher from a million yards out. Guy would have still been subbed, right? At the end of the day, we capitalized on a Chelsea mistake, and it looks like that's how we were going to snatch either a point or 3 points today. Because, like I said, we were unproductive with the ball today. We had Bruno Fernandes giving away the ball so much today. Oh my gosh, boy, that guy knows how to give away a football. But anyway, great goal by Sancho. I was expecting Sancho to press that X button, right, to cross over to Rashford, right? But nah, my guy just finessed that ball past Edward Mendy, and it was 1-0. And notice how Jadon Sancho now has 2 goals since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has left.
Yeah,
boy, the confidence is rising. I can see that the confidence is rising. I'm not going to jump for joy saying this is the Jadon Sancho from Dortmund, right? But give it maybe a month or two, and he starts consistently, and he's fit. I can definitely see a better Jadon Sancho coming into this fourth. So yeah.
Yeah. So before I come to Simeon, let me just get some comments here, right? So guys, Kerry, who was on, he said, I'm sorry about that, fellas. My net acting like Werner, only missing. That being said, the penalty was definitely a penalty, and Manchester United body, right? Was lucky to come out with a draw. Still top of the league though. All right, we hear you. Gregory saying, Phil, tell the truth. You didn't think Sancho was an attacking threat.
No. My exact words, cause he's twisting my words. It's almost like it goes through one ear, come out the next, right? You got to clean your ear wax, Greg B. I said Jadon Sancho was not a goal scoring option, right? Because at the end of the day, Jadon Sancho still has one goal in X amount of appearances since he's come to Manchester United, right? I'm not going to jump for joy just I said Jadon Sancho's a goal scoring option just because he scored a goal against Villarreal. Come on, right? And also Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has not had a shot on target for over 2 months. So right now, when I saw the lineup, I saw only Marcus Rashford, our only goal scoring option, right? And that's what I said.
All right. So Everson saying again here, saying anyone who follows football knows Sancho finds his form late November, early December.
I know
Sancho
that
only
was
got
definitely last season. He struggled at Dortmund early in the season.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Sancho only got
remember. Yeah.
sub because he was Rose. Yeah, and I think fitness might be and then the physicality and the speed at this league difference is something that he'll take time to adjust to. So I'm in a hurry, but I like him what I'm seeing with Jaden right now. The fact that he again goes to build his confidence. Simeon, team sheets.
I mean, team sheet. I mean, like the defense was already, predictable. It was really want to see how the back line would look without Maguire. How they would, deal with Chelsea. But I was pleased for the most part with how they handled it compared to other people on the team. I thought that the midfield could have used a Van de Beek, but I knew he wasn't going to start anyway because they couldn't get out their own half. I mean, no one wanted the ball. I mean, Matic was there for that, but the first 15 minutes he couldn't do anything with it. McTominay useless in possession. Fred, I can't remember him getting the ball anywhere. Bruno coming back and giving the ball. I mean, the whole thing with this game, the whole game plan was to, I figured Rashford up top was meant counterattack because I know he can't hold the ball up and he couldn't hold the ball up for the most part of this game. So I figured it was going to be counterattack. But Chelsea more or less planned to trap us, and they did a very good job trapping us for most of the game. And when we did get out of that trap, a few times we had daylight. I mean, we didn't make most of it, but we had a little bit of daylight, but we couldn't get out of the trap. I mean, we don't have enough guys to possess the ball in midfield or in defense because Bissaka, who I defend a lot, he was trying to dribble the ball out from the back and he couldn't do it. Lindelof for the first 15 minutes was, he couldn't control the ball, he couldn't pass the ball. Bailly, I don't expect too much from Bailly. He kind of scares me, but he didn't have a mistake like he normally does, and that was great. Tellez, I mean, I think this game kind of suit him because I really didn't see him that much this whole game. He had a few good passes, and he could use his feet, so that was good. But I didn't see any big defensive, issues he had, like he normally has. So
It's similar to the Villarreal game, right? Similar to the Villarreal game, yeah.
Yeah, so I think the team was. I could see what they were going for. Sancho was looking better, but I didn't think it was executed by the guys he had. We couldn't get control of midfield. I mean, and that without that goal, I think we would have been more or less. I think they were turning the screws in on us before that goal. You could see the press coming. They were pressing higher and higher. I mean, they had their center backs in our box pressing. They were so confident, and that kind of led to the goal because it just had one guy back there. But I think we were lucky that they gave us that gift because our lineup wasn't strong enough to deliver the kind of play that they were sent out to do. So that's what I think about that.
Yeah. I guess get some comments here, right? Riyadh saying those guys watch a different game. Didn't see Fred do anything. some people need to watch the game and not go based on the lazy rhetoric. Right? He's also saying here, and Wan Bissaka was poor as hell. Jesus Hackshaw, thanks for joining. He's saying team sheets expected a back four, unexpected Ronaldo on the bench, Bruno starting, but you need a captain and McFred static. I understood immediately.
By Matic, I think.
Oh, sorry,
By Mat.
I seen McFred by static.
Okay.
Suddenly
By
that is
Matic, maybe.
Yeah, okay. And I understood immediately it was to keep shape, discipline, and pinch it in the end. Nearly worked. We were lucky that De Gea saves. No doubt De Gea has been coming up so big for us, you know.
Let me say this before we go on. I thought that this team played better team defense than we've played in a long time. Like I saw Sancho back. I saw guys like they trained. It looked like they actually went on the field and did drills about coming back. And because for Ole, I didn't see all that transition defense that they had today. I mean, like they did some work the last few days.
Yeah, and Wise also saw is he pressing. I think we also saw some pressing, or at least to try to press
Attempt
to press with a bit more urgency today. And we'd have pinched a few balls off of them with the press also. So I think the press today is starting a good direction.
Where was this? I mean, it's the same guys that were there all this whole time.
Yeah.
Where was this? I mean, where did this come from? I mean, Carrick was there this whole time. I mean, then now start training. I mean, what going on here?
I don't know.
Before I continue the comments, I'm gonna just remind you all, guys, we do appreciate the comments, but don't forget to like the video and share it to as much people we can get on to view as well, right? Thanks for that. Riyadh saying here, Marcus still seems a bit off the pace, which is surprising. All right. Yeah, I guess. He really not looking.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Killer
drive. There's a time where Marcus Rashford could have easily ran past Hudson-Odoi, and this guy stopped. And I was like, Marcus Rashford, you're ahead already. What you stop for?
Exactly.
That's why I always keep on telling people, Marcus Rashford and Kylian Mbappe have the same attributes and skill, but there's one thing that differentiates them, and that is decision making. My gosh, boy! I was so confused.
Yeah, I can remember that play. Yeah. And to me, it was like Russia was ahead.
Yeah. And he was ahead already before.
I was like, yeah.
Riyadh saying here, Keane said it, and I think this is in response to Simeon's point. The guys got too comfortable with Oli, right? They didn't seem to be performing. Yeah. And I think what will send the message to this group now is the fact that, remember, they play into impress a manager, right? And not only that, I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, Carrick making some kind of bold decisions, so players should that kind of translate into the players that, hey, here what's going on. I had to up my game because Carrick, like, he ain't here for the long term, so he had nothing to lose, so he making decisions, So I guess that is why they might be a little more, pushing and fighting more for the team. I could be wrong. In terms of the team sheets, for me, I guess just like everyone else, I was surprised with the omission of Ronaldo. But when I saw that he was on the bench, I knew that, just like the Everton game, and I mentioned it to a couple of you all, similar to the Everton game, that was just like, here we're going on. All right, so I don't want to start here, but for sure on the hour mark, you're coming on. So it's like Ronaldo knew that, all right, I wasn't going to start, but I know by a certain time, I coming on. And nothing was going to change that. Nothing was going to change that, right? So, I mean, yes, it was a bold statement, but Ronaldo's still going to play, right? As you all noted, the backline circumstances would have influenced, the decisions to bring in Bailly and Tellez. And fellas, earlier, Phil Jones was on the bench. When last we hear that? When last we see that? Phil Jones earlier. This man still here.
He didn't have that choice.
No, but I mean, it still, it could be We've seen him Mengi
Mengi?
or somebody, but Phil Jones, the man alive and the man on the bench, dog, right? So if something that
Eating
happened
our
to
food.
Bailly, if something that happened to Bailly, we know it's not out of the realm of possibility.
For sure.
We was gonna see Phil Jones make an appearance and all that. Man, that
Yeah.
come back from the dead, you know. Anyway, but Phil Jones was there, and I think as everybody noted, Matic, Fred, McTominay, you know what kind of game you're gonna get in that midfield. You're gonna get a scrappy game. You're gonna get them fellas on them who gonna just graft. And grafting doesn't necessarily mean quality. It just means hard work. You know, whether the hard work would have been fruitful, we just had we can't determine that at the beginning when we see the team sheet. We had to look at the end of the game and say, well, all right, well, it worked. You could never go into a game with Fred and McTominay in a midfield pairing and be excited, right? And this is not it is not hating on nobody with no agendas, right? It's just what it is. It's the levels of the players that we have, right? Because I am always confused as to how I could have a front three of Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, and Marcus Rashford. Or even I get like the game against Villarreal, you have Donny, Sancho, Martial, Ronaldo, and them fellas suffer for service. It's because the middle of the park just not good enough to do what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
You know? And even in a game where a team would have possessed the ball and you put those three in the middle of the park to kind of deal with that, I still felt that Chelsea was moving through our midfield with ease.
Really?
So, yeah, so I mean, it's like, I don't know, but I mean, that's the best, I guess, that Carrick know to execute his game plan. And I mean, in hindsight, we could say it worked, right?
But
go ahead.
before you go on if it really comments, I know we were talking before the game, and you was saying that you could have seen Donny playing in a deeper role in a game like this. I don't know what you guys think about Donny playing in a deeper role in a game like today, because I was against it. Because again, for me, I haven't seen Donny doing enough. Yes, he came on in the Watford game and he looked okay from deep, right? But then went to Villarreal and he was absent. As Reem would have said, is a change of position. Yes, wasn't the same position. So, what you all think that Donny starting from deep today? Like we say in place, like we say a McTominay today.
I would be all for that, right? Because I still feel that you know, the whole reason behind why McTominay is played, I don't see it as much as I want to see it. I will see, like, for instance, if they say, well, McTominay go, you know, he go break up a play and, you know, be two players, I will say that once for 90 minutes, right? But McTominay will give me the quality on the ball. McTominay is a side pass man, you know, and then he had to get space to make the long pass. I really think Donny has shown lately that he will give you the energy in the midfield, but when he's in possession, he showing me as well, or have seen recently, that he could pick the pass when he look forward more, and he's showing me that he could make the forward passes accurately, right? He don't hide from the ball like McTominay. So I would really like to see Fred, who, while he may not be as good on the ball as, you know, a midfielder that we would like to have in the team, I think having two midfielders who are not afraid to show themselves for the ball would benefit the team better.
No, in my opinion, Donny van de Beek has a higher IQ than Fred and Scott combined. I think playing Donny van de Beek next to one of them may raise their game, right? Because in my opinion, I'm not this type of fan who, just because you give me energy and effort, I have to play you, right? Because football has evolved. You have to contribute more than just energy and a high work rate, right? I mean, like, for God's sakes, you're a football professional, so that's kind of like given for most football players, right? Exactly expected, right? Like you said, Rain, Donny van de Beek, obviously he doesn't have the high energy levels of like your Fred, right? But here's the thing: when Donny gets the ball, I said on an IG live today, football players with high IQs, they have three options when passing the football. The first option is to obviously back pass. The second option is to sideways pass or to pass the ball forward. The third option is to be creative, and Donny van de Beek has all three of those. So I mean, playing Donny van de Beek next to either Scott or Fred, I would have definitely gone for, right? Because it also provides another outlet to be creative. Because our only two outlets were Bruno Fernandes and Sancho, and both of them were giving away the ball today. So then, who else do you see as a creative entity? Nemanja Matic? No. Fred? No. Scott? No. And like you said, football players who are in the opposition, when they have given Scott space, Scott looks good. When Scott doesn't have space, Scott starts to tremble, and he starts to look like a deer in headlights. So, will Donny van de Beek get more playing time this season? I don't know.
I guess when Ralph come, definitely he had to show himself to be able to get the opportunity. And if Simeon had something, go ahead.
Before I go to Simeon, let me just see Ray have a question. You say, if Scott was so poor, how did he get man of the match today? I don't know how we get man of the match.
Well, Scott McTominay got man of the match today.
I wasn't aware of that, but definitely I had to look over that game and have a microscope on Scott.
I mean,
This is crazy. Crazy.
Let me answer that question. Let me answer that question in the simplest way. If you are in the rat race and you win the rat, doesn't matter what position you come, you're still a rat. Okay, so if you perform poor out of a bunch of poor people or a bunch of average people, you're still average. You just perform better than the other average people out there. That's all.
But even I would have given Sancho ahead of him. I would have definitely given De Gea ahead of him. So
yeah,
that's a
but yeah, that's all remind me of what game it was we play where McTominay was pretty poor and Ollie come and say Scott McTominay was his man of the match. So I mean, it depends on how you're looking at it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Simeon?
Again, I want to see a proper coach come in and really make these decisions because I'd be confused.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Scott McTominay is he's always there, but he's always a step behind. It's like he's always there, but I mean, what's the point of him being there if he's not gonna affect the play that much? I mean, with Donny, I think Donny could have played for Bruno or he could have played for Scott today, because I mean, Donny, like his whole off season was built on being stronger, being tougher. I mean, Donny's a big boy. I didn't know he was that big until you watch him. Like he can get the ball, control it, hold off pressure, and lay it off. I mean, he has the, like Phil was saying, he has the IQ, he has the skill, and he has the body for it. You have Bruno running around, losing the ball and rolling around, because he's losing the ball. I mean, you want someone that can get the ball, control it, possess it, and move it. And like, that's so obvious when we look at our team, like, that no one, 1, 2, 3, ball's gone. 1, 2, 3, ball's gone every single time. Even when we get the ball past that 1, 2, 3 and gets to the other team, it's like, I know this concept called the triangle. You guys have like different points where you get the ball, I move, you move, I pass the ball. That's like a drill you learn in what, primary school, secondary school, pass the ball and move. Then for us, don't do that. And like a simple thing I learned, what was it? I learned this in primary school with Stedman. And I learned this in secondary school with his brother, John Stedman. I passed the ball. I used my big toe and I passed the ball to Stedman. We stopped the game. We say, you know what, guys? You can't pass the ball like that. You have to pass the ball inside your foot. Simple things like that you learn when you 12, 13. Then for us can't pass the ball. Fred, McTominay, they trying to pass the ball. I mean, guys can't control it because just an over and over, not one person in our midfield could pass the ball properly. They pass it in a spot where the person, like the defender, could come over and get it. It's like, it's simple. I mean, it get my blood up. I can't talk properly. It's so maddening because it's like, it's things as a, peewee, pass the ball in a good spot where someone could control and move it on. And like, we can't even do that. It's just why? Why is this acceptable? I know we have a guy, a Dutch international player that can move the ball, and he on the bench.
So,
I don't
Simeon,
know.
you said something, right? You said that you would have played Donny in Bruno position, right?
Just today. Just for today.
Okay, okay, okay.
I mean, just for
Fair
I
the
enough.
pressure. Just for the pressure.
I be honest with you, I want to see Donny in deeper positions. I think when he play too high, he don't get the ball, and then he's go missing. Right? Donny is one of those players who have to have the ball on his feet. And even the West Ham game in the Carabao Cup, the game when we played against Villarreal, Watford, those, not Villarreal, sorry, but the Watford game, the West Ham game, and I think there was one other game when Donny playing deep and he have the ball on his feet, we just see him confident, making things happen. When he high up the pitch, he depended on the midfielders who we just talked about, who are afraid to go forward to give him the ball. So I hoping to see him play deep until we get better midfielders.
But Bruno was bad today, boy.
Sancho is the exact same thing as well too.
Yeah. Jesus Sacho saying John Stedman, our best coach. Ball and cuss you out. But you had to be able to pass, move, trap, shoot, the basics. Yeah, John boy. Yeah. And I mean, I don't want to go as far as to say as, the players that we have, these professional millionaires, can't do it, but they need to show that they can do it at that level, One thing that, I must commend Michael Carrick for, and I think it's something that, is it Jurgen Klopp or Thomas Tuchel said, that the first thing you had to do when you're setting your team up is you have to be difficult to beat. Right? You had to be difficult to beat. And I don't know, it's something that Oli, at the start of his tenure as manager, he showed that he understood because we were very, very solid. Right? And at the last, coming down to the end of his time at Man United, it's like we lost that. And I think this is what Carrick trying to bring back. Even though we concede in possession, we're not looking good, trying to come out of the press or even try to move up. If it's one thing Carrick making sure he do, is here what's going on. We're not gonna get beat, and we're not gonna concede no million goals. So I don't know if the next game, if he's still here, he gonna make me eat my words. But from what I've seen so far, how Carrick has been setting up, he's been setting up to kind of solidify the back, right? Stabilize, how the team build, and let me hope for something going up top.
Carrick at the wheel, boy.
Now, earlier, this is not how I want to see my team play. This is not how I want to see my team play. Let me get that straight. The only thing that have me accepting these kind of performances is the fact that I know Carrick is not here for much longer.
Interim.
And we have a manager, a promising manager, based on his philosophy, coming in. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So if Carrick play against Arsenal and we see a next dire performance, but we end up getting a result, I could say, all right, but I know what I'm looking forward to is when this new manager is installed, this interim guy, and he comes in and he starts to inject that kind of mentality and that kind of understanding of the game and philosophy and type game, how we play. That's just why I want to see. So that's why I kind of hold in my tongue and enduring this kind of rubbish football,
Yeah.
Let me just get some comments here, right? Everson saying, Reem speaking the things, Donny need to play deep or else he won't get the ball. Yeah. And that's just where it is, right? Red saying, man ends his first managerial role unbeaten. Carrick at the wheel.
I tell you,
No,
Carrick
but
at the wheel.
Stop it.
It has not to come. It has not to come, and that's just Tuesday. I doubt Ralph will be in by that time. Reem,
Well,
you have any?
yeah. From what they're saying, Ralph wouldn't be he wouldn't be in time for Thursday. So most likely he'll be watching the game Thursday, right? Jesus Action was saying Carrick era 1 win, 1 draw. LOL, Carrick at the wheel.
Carrick at the wheel, man.
Jody saying back 4. Wan-Bissaka, Victor Maguire, Tellez, Donny van de Beek and Fred in the middle, Sancho, Bruno, Rashford and Ronaldo on top. My selection for the Arsenal game. Oh, and the best keeper.
No, boy. No, Maguire, boy. No, Maguire. No.
No, I tell you, remember against Villarreal, we kept a clean sheet with Maguire in the team. So I guess Carrick would have been starting everybody on a clean slate here. What you know? What I mean, I mean, I in charge now. All right, everybody start over from scratch. I think Maguire would have been one of them. And if you let me say you come the Villarreal game, you know, I guess you gotta bring him back into the team. Because it
To
was
be
a clean
fair,
sheet.
to be fair, when I look back at the Villarreal game, I don't think Maguire was that bad, you know, in the Villarreal game. I'll have to watch it over because I can't remember.
No, I find he was he was better than the previous games. To be
Correct. Yeah,
honest.
that's the best way to put it. Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And as I said before, fellas, the reason why that happened is because the entire team, in terms of team shape, was set up to be a little more compact, right? So you wasn't seeing much spaces, and so Maguire, none of the attackers, you know, had space and grass behind Maguire. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of, you know, the performances of our defenders in terms of defending, you know, compact is due to how the team set up more than their individual ability, because we see, and when you put them individuals in situations, they're getting skin out. So yeah. Everson saying, fellas, we beaten Arsenal though. Come on. Carrick 3 games, 2 wins, 1 draw. Glory, glory, Man United. I
Boy.
hear you, buddy. I hear you. I hear you.
Boy.
I hear you. And I think as Kerry noted it before he went off today, Man United could be in how bad a form. You could never discount us. Right? And that's the beauty of football, and that's just the enigma of Man United. I could use that, because
Yeah,
we will
yeah.
we will still go and we'll host Arsenal, and Arsenal will respect us. They're not going to come and look at our record and feel as a walk in the park, because we have the players on the pitch to this year, you know, and that's just how football is. So I am sure Arsenal, even though they have been, you know, in some pretty decent form lately, you know, bar the trashing from Liverpool, they have been in decent form. I know they can't come to Old Trafford Tuesday and think it's all that, you know, because I think we could, if it's one thing we could get something over, is Arsenal, you know.
I hope
So
so.
let me so let's look at the Arsenal game, right, as we kind of go into the ending segment. But before that, let me just get some comments here. Anybody know what's the latest on Cavani? Because we're real missing Cavani. We're gonna play like Cavani without-
He traveled back to Uruguay, I think, to receive some therapy. I think.
Okay, so
It's so
he out
serious,
for a
wow.
while again. Hey, buddy, Cavani. Hey. Jesus saying, question: can Ralph really work with what we have? Conte complaining with the... Hey, that's a good question, but he said Conte complaining with what he met at Spurs. Would Ralph be okay with all centre-backs or full-backs or double pivot? Or would he call for players that he knows much better, that he may have trained up already? It's a good question, fellas.
I
How do you
got.
feel about this?
I want to contribute a little to this now. I don't normally listen to Paul Merson because the guy just oozes negativity about Man United. But somebody sent me a link today with regards to Paul Merson and Ralph Ragnick. Right now, Ralph Ragnick has been able to manage the likes of Schalke and Hoffenheim, right, where he was able to be given a team full of youngsters, right? So those youngsters are looking up to him as like a father figure or a dad figure, right? Now he's coming to Manchester United. Will he be able to manage the egos of, you know, your Bruno, your Pogba, your Marcus Rashford, your Cristiano Ronaldo, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, everybody who is not, in my opinion, a youngster, but will he be able to do that? And obviously, your guy Paul Pearson said that he will not be able to, but that's a question that's at the top of my mind as well. Too. Obviously, I'm not going on the whole road of Paul Merson because he's negative against anything Man United, right? But that question has me thinking though, because Paul Merson with regards to that comment, he is kind of right because he was able to manage like small egos, and by small egos I mean nobody had ever heard of Sadio Mane at that time. Nobody had ever heard of Roberto Firmino. Nobody ever heard of Erling Haaland. and I can call about 3 or 4 other players like Naby Keita and who else, right? So those guys weren't like at the level they were when Ralph discovered them. So let's see.
I think that Phil would come down to respect in terms of the coach, in terms of what the coach would have developed or acquired during his tenure, and I think naturally he will get respect off of that. And then added to that is if the players are seeing what he is employing is working on the training field, right? Then I think he will also get respect out of that also. So I think as long as he brings something different, something that's working to the team, I could see that he would be able to manage the ego. However, because remember players like let me say Ronaldo, right, Bruno, they would have been exposed to different coaches at different levels. And if
Correct.
he is not at that level or close to the top managers that they would have been exposed to, then I think is where the egos will start to get the better of the squad more or less.
I think as well, normally, as Nico you were saying, even though, and just to respond to what Paul Merson was saying, even though, you know, Ralph Ranick would have been, a manager with small egos and clubs with with middle to no expectation when compared to the likes of Manchester United. His reputation has, kind of gone before him because you hear the likes of a Jurgen Klopp. You hear how Jurgen Klopp talks about him. You hear how Thomas Tuchel talks about him. You hear how Nagelsmann and all these top coaches, the kind of respect they have for him. So he coming in with that kind of reputation. So players, right, who have the egos in the club will know that, right? Because as big as Ronaldo is, I think on that Klopp system, Ronaldo could get sub and hush him out, right? Because Klopp is a proven manager. He win things. He won things, So I think, and then I mean, Oli is nobody never referred to Oli as the godfather of counter-attacking football. Carrick is not the godfather of solid defenses. When you come in with that kind of reputation and it have coaches who follow your philosophy and winning things, right? And I will say Klopp, Tuchel, then them that ego thing ain't gonna be a problem for Ralph in my opinion. I think he'll walk into the team and command that kind of respect. Simeon?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing was that he got the deal he got probably gave him more power over the club. And I think he wants to make sure he has the power to do what he wants for his team before he comes in. So I figure him coming in, he will have a good idea of, I can make this change if I want to. I think we have one of the biggest teams there is in Europe, right? Or biggest expensive teams with hardly any youth players. I think that's one thing he's going to do is try and get some more youth players in the team. If the players doesn't have, work out. I mean, we have good players. Like I keep going back to Hannibal Mejri. I think he's going to look at a team and see, okay, well, who's going to play the way I want to play. And he's not going to be afraid to bring guys up that he wants. If it's the youth system, it's almost January. I mean, the transfer window right there. I mean, guys want to go, guys don't want to come in. I mean, I think at this stage, he has enough time. I want to say not the time because, I mean, we got to catch up to the top 4, but he has enough resources to pull from the youth team, the full team, how do we call it? The team that has, we have all these guys, our first team that we don't even use, don't even see. So I think, yeah, I mean, we have guys who just get paid and, kick the ball around and practice. I think he's going to clean it all up. I think we have Manchester United. We have players, we have youth system, we have money to buy players if we stop playing. And once we get a good system in place to make it happen, which hopefully, this could be the start of getting the future going. And I think if those guys want to buy in, fine. If not, we have a transfer window coming up soon, so we'll see.
Yeah. I just want to get 2 comments here. Kendall Gooding, thanks for joining, buddy. Saying we have to give credit. Scott had a good game despite the few errant passes. Matic looked the most creative midfielder today. Bruno needed a bench earlier on. He seems exhausted. All right, fair. He's also saying Ralph is highly respected by who? By
No other big
But
teams.
why? But
why?
why?
But why no other big
Okay.
teams has hired him yet? Let's hope he's good, but don't expect results one time. Yeah, look at what people expected from Conte. But I think
But
that whole
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. But I think I agree with Riyadh here. Spurs in a real mess
Yeah.
on there. You know, and we'll go
But
through the
Chelsea, but Chelsea was looking at Adrianic before they went to Tuchel. But again, it was an interim kind of role with more or less no future, right? So he would have turned it down. So I think it's not like nobody wanted him, and let me see if he kicked it off with Chelsea, I don't know. Maybe they would have kept him instead of going for Tuchel, but they end up getting Tuchel instead. So I guess he was out there at that point in time, but he is more interested in more development and the development side of teams than rather the frontline coaching. So I guess that could be why also.
Yeah. So fellas, let's take a quick look at Tuesday. We have Arsenal coming to Old Trafford. Based on what we're hearing, Carrick will still be in charge. And I have not seen anything, from Carrick over the last two games that have me, scared that Ralph hasn't come in yet. Yes, I want the only thing I could really argue is the fact that my team not playing properly. But we've been seeing that for over the last three years, right? Or even back to after Fergie retired. So let's look at Arsenal. Arsenal, as I said before, has not been bad. Their players, are well drilled. Arteta seem to have really gotten his philosophy into the team, because I watch other teams play. I don't only watch Man United play. So I could make this statement and say that, Arsenal seem to really have bought in the players to what Arteta asking from them, and they're doing it pretty well. Right? So I'm not going to say, well, it's only Arsenal, right? Even though I think we could beat them, but we haven't beaten them, I think, in the last 3 or 4 meetings, right? How you all feel about, going into this game against Arsenal? Phil?
If it was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I would have felt a bit stressed. But I know that with Carrick at the wheel, I feel a bit more confident, right? All right, now, all jokes aside, right? I said during the international break that I actually expect 2 draws versus Arsenal and versus Chelsea. First match today was a draw, and I kind of expect a draw versus Arsenal. I would love to beat Arsenal for bragging rights, but at the end of the day, we know the capabilities of our team, right? Especially in our midfield. I am not looking forward to seeing Harry Maguire in our defense. I'm not sure if Luke Shaw is fit. Don't care. But I'm not looking forward to seeing that fridge of Maguire in the defense, right? With regards to individual for individual, I think we have one thing in common with Arsenal, is that our most informed player is our goalkeeper, right? Sancho.
No, most
Oh,
informed.
Don't get me wrong. Sorry, our most informed and consistent player for this season has been our goalkeepers, and that's Ramsdale and David De Gea. So going forward to Thursday, I definitely expect David De Gea to be tested more, because Arsenal, from what I've seen and as what Reem said, have more of a slightly edge in terms of philosophy and strategy, because Arteta has them clicking a certain way. But we'll see. At the end of the day, results. This is a results business, and it's results that matter, right? Whether we get a scrappy 2-1 win or a scrappy 1-love win versus Arsenal, I could be texting about 500 Arsenal fans saying, "I told you so," right? But until then, A draw is what I expect, and I look forward to Thursday.
Yeah. King on really pre saying here, Arsenal left wing back gonna get exposed from Donny and Sancho, as if Donny play. And I think Sancho came off today because he had a little strain. So let's hope that there's nothing serious that will keep him out of the game. Yeah, Simeon.
No, I mean, I think Arsenal, like, I've seen a few of the games and they look very confident going forward. They look some good attacking players, you know. I'm not sure if the guy's name is it Partey. Is it Partey? The guy's the CDM name is. He looks pretty decent. So that's a little bit worrying. Goalkeeper is a good form. I don't know much about the defense, but I would say this: if I'm Carrick, I'm playing Sancho, Greenwood, and Rashford. I'm going to tell them, I'm like, you guys want to play for England? You guys want to that guy? Who's the guy they have that Arsenal
Ben
has?
White?
That
Ben White?
yeah, I mean, who are the attacking player Arsenal has that plays for England?
Saka,
Smith Rowe?
Saka and Smith Rowe, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this guy he starts for England. You guys want your spot on that team? Show us why.
So you're dropping
I
Bruno.
think you set them guys up and have them attack, you know, with that in mind, because I think Arsenal is a very good team going forward. I'm not too worried about them defensively, but I think we're going to have to score goals in this game. I think Carrick's going to have us set up well if Carrick doesn't play. But I think we need to really have the same kind of intensity for this game as we did the one against Chelsea, because Arsenal, they have a lot of good players that hold on to the ball and attack very, very directly, and they can spread you out and punish you. So, I mean, it's a worrying game, but I don't think it's something we can't do.
Yeah. Nico?
Yeah. You know, Manchester United for me, especially at this moment, is always a mixed bag. You know, you can, as you saw, we can go to Watford and get destroyed. You know, so against Watford, I mean, Arsenal coming up, you don't know what to expect now. You know, you're hoping the best, but you can't even say you're expecting nothing. It's just like, you know, let me see, you know, because you just don't know. I think definitely Ronaldo coming back into this game, going back into that game. I think playing like today playing against Chelsea, we know that, or the expectation were that Chelsea would have majority of possession. You know, I think the expectation against Arsenal, as much as they are good with the ball, with us playing at home, I think we would be hoping or expected to have more of the possession. And with more possession, I think there could be more opportunities to play the ball into the area, have Ronaldo more into the game, right? And, you know, with Ronaldo and chances, you know, goals come right after that. You know, so I guess, I think that would be the thinking, get Ronaldo back in the team, because we would have more possession, more chances to create goal scoring opportunities. So I could definitely see that happening. How it happen, or if it happened after that, that is something that, you know what I mean, would really be difficult to tell. But I could definitely see us winning that game. However, I could see us winning that game.
Yeah. Kendall saying here, we played 2 reasonable games. Hopefully we'll build on the momentum. The backline did well, and Arsenal is not as attacking as Chelsea and Villarreal. And Arsenal defense is not as good, so we have a good chance to get the results. And he's also saying Donny should get the start, and let's see what he can create. Now, I am hopeful in a game like this, as you mentioned, Nico, because, you know, Arsenal probably not as technical, although they're not probably as good as Chelsea in the press, that we might really see more time and space in the midfield. And this is where I would like to see Donny, right? This is why I would like to see Donny start ahead of McTominay, right? The chances of that happening, I don't know, because Carrick seemed to favor that midfield pairing. But I would like to see Donny and Fred starting in midfield, simply because I think this game will be won and lost in that space, right? Because it's whoever have the hole in midfield is who I feel will create more chances. And as you say, Nico, once we could create enough chances for Ronaldo, then we could get the goals. Right? So I am hoping that we play a midfield that will be able to utilize the football and not just there to win it back. Right? Because, I mean, I don't even think they're doing that good. So let's try the other aspect of when we get it, we could actually do something with it. Because we have quality players waiting to use it, in the attacking spaces. So that's my hope. We've seen other players get opportunities and mess it up and get opportunities. So I'm saying, no, listen. Carrick, you're interim, that your last game in charge, possibly. Risk it. Right? Give some players opportunities to see what the team could possibly look like. Right? Give them a chance. Let me see something happen, man. And that's what I'm hoping for. Because I do think, as well as Arsenal playing, we could still win it. So yeah. Dave Daniel saying, Nico, watch out Saka, Chambers and Tomiyasu in all your.
Yeah, but we had Ziyech, Werner, Hudson-Odoi. Who else they had again?
Purchase, come on,
Werner,
Lukaku.
Right?
No,
Lukaku.
they bring on 100 million Lukaku, and he look
Right?
over.
And it's a penalty save all year. So Chambers, who is that? Come on. Dave, be yourself.
He talking about that Harry Potter but Chambers secrets. That's what he talking about.
Hey, Dwayne,
Yeah,
good night, buddy. Dwayne said, good night, guys. Just saying, we in that zone of a serious drought for being closer to the Premier League and CPL.
CPL.
I sure what you mean. At this
At
point,
this point, it's
just to
too
look
much
and hope for the best. It's that
Okay.
serious. Yeah.
Yes. No doubt. So, guys, I think that brings us to the end of our review this evening. As we all agreed, in the earlier parts, we were just all banter. Going in at Chelsea, who, I'm sure they were expecting to come and batter us like Liverpool and City did, right? But they came and that's a whole adi. And we cool with that. We get a point from Stamford Bridge and we moving with that. Alright? But onto serious things, we really need to move up the table because right now we're sitting in 8th and this festive run, this be a telling one, and we already lost Cavani, Varane, fragile, so we want to hope that we could preserve and keep the players that we have and up with levels. So Arsenal up next. And let's see how that one goes, guys. Wrapping with the comments, he said he meant Champions League. Right? Hey, Tyreek, thanks for joining later to you, too, buddy. Everson, Lukaku look like the Michelin man. Yeah, Lukaku. Actually, that one man me missing me, but they go back Italy. So guys, thanks again, Simeon, Phil. Guys, we will see you all on Thursday for the review of the Arsenal game. So have a good night, everybody.